Hello everyone, welcome back to another iRacing video and welcome to the guaranteed carnage of the new Formula iR-04 class. We've had two incredible races in this series already and we're back for a third attempt today at Lime Rock Park. And if you watched either of those other two videos, you'll know that there were crashes everywhere. Across those two races, we gained a total of 12 positions and picked up 2 podiums without even having to make an overtake. That's how many crashes there were. But if we're going to finish anywhere near the podium today, we're going to need a lot more people to crash because we're starting down in an 11th position. It's a really quick lap here at Lime Rock Park and every 10th counts. It's also very narrow and twisty, particularly around the opening sections, so we're going to have to be busier than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs if we're going to get through this first lap in one piece. Right, down to the grid then, where we're just about ready for the lights to go green, and we are off at Lime Rock Park. A pretty decent getaway there. We've got Lance Taylor just ahead of us to the left in that gorgeous Marlboro livery. Tobias Eriksson right in front. And we might have had our first casualty already. There was a car sideways in the rearview mirror. I think 2 or 3 drivers involved there. That has helped to spread out the pack behind us a bit. That's going to do us a favour. In front, Taylor and Eriksson still battling for that 9th position, and there's contact! Taylor on the outside has been sent into the wall. So it hasn't taken long for us to start picking up the positions, but we might be under threat here. Mamani looking up the inside. Oh, this chicane is the last place we want to be going too wide. Somehow we get through it okay. I feared the worst there. It's hard enough to get through that chicane when you're on your own, but too wide, it's an absolute nightmare. I was really cautious there, made sure I gave Mamani as much space as I could. But as we round the last turn to finish lap 1, the yellows are out again. Oh, that's a big one. There didn't look to be too much left of Oliver Anderson's car there, so that's another place gained. We are up into 9th. And to be honest, I'm just grateful to have survived lap 1. So 2 positions gained on lap 1. The game plan is working so far. Let's go back and check out a replay of the start. We got away reasonably well there. And thankfully we were just far enough ahead to avoid the mayhem behind. We could see contact on the outside. The number 2 car, Risto Westman, was the one I saw sideways in my rearview mirror. But fair play to them. They've all managed to survive that. But sadly, survival wasn't an option for Lance Taylor, and we had to say an early goodbye to that Marlboro car. There's the contact that sends him out into the grass. Meanwhile, I had a proper panic on when Mamani tried this move up the inside. You can see how much space I gave him, but also fair play to Mamani. He gave me equally as much space. I think we were both as nervous as each other going through that chicane there. And as we make our way up and over the hill, further ahead, there was an even bigger shunt. Check out this impact. This is Oliver Anderson, who qualified 3rd on the grid. And that is one way to iron the creases out of your shirt. Rejoining the live action at the start of lap 3, we're in 9th position. There's a gap of more than a second now back to Mamani, but look ahead, we're going to gain another position because there's another car on the grass. That was Martin Sinicola, who had started from 8th. And yeah, it's a classic turn 1 error here at Lime Rock Park. Once you run a little bit wide into that turn, the grass almost seems to have a magnetic pull. Lap 4 then, we're up to 8th thanks to that spin from Sinicola, but as you can see in the rearview mirror, we haven't been able to shake Mamani. He's still within 1 second behind. Oh, and it sounds like someone else has come to grief ahead. We could have another position here. No, it's a lap driver who was parked up on the grass, so no position gained this time. And we'll stay in 8th position as we cross the line to start lap 5. We're about 2.5 seconds behind Robert Sow in 7th. And we have gained a few tenths on Mamani too. That gap behind now is 1.2. There's a yellow out, and this time we will gain a position. Nicholas Stosic has spun out of 3rd position at turn 1. It was Xavier Pons, the back marker, who we passed a few corners earlier. He just clipped that curb on the inside. That unsettled the car and sent him unceremoniously into the tyre wall. Then, at the start of lap 5, Nicholas Stosic, in 3rd position, makes the same mistake in T1. And once you clip that grass, it is game over. And when we cross the line to finish this 5th lap, we should get confirmation on the relative board that we are, in fact, up to 7th after Stosic's spin. So the game plan is definitely working. We are picking off these positions one by one as drivers spin out, and there's 2 more cars in the barrier, and that might be another position. Yeah, it was Maxime Britoffo who was in 5th position, and he was in the barrier with a back marker, but completely unrelated incidents. Incredibly, watch Lance Taylor in the Marlboro car. He's a back marker, completely misses his line, and then soon he's joined by the driver who was in 5th place. On board with Britoffo, you can already see Taylor running wide, and then Britoffo joins him in sympathy. So Britoffo exiting stage left has promoted us up to 6th position, which is a great start. We're still only on lap 7, so we're still only a third of the way through this race, and already we've picked up 5 positions from drivers crashing out. Oh, and could it be 6? The yellow flags are out again at the chicane, and yeah, there's another car in pieces. That was Luca Nastar, who has thrown away 4th position. One by one, they're falling. Quite an unusual crash into the chicane for Nestar, this one. Normally an accident is caused when you clip either one of those raised curbs, but in Nestar's case, I think he just got on the gas a little bit too soon and sent the rear out, whack, into the barrier. Yeah, this strategy I'm using, just sitting back and letting everyone else crash, it's normally the type of game plan that you can use to great effect in rookie races, but it really is paying dividends here in this Formula iR-04 class. And there's another yellow flag out. Surely we're not going to get even luckier. There is a back marker, James Black, among the cars ahead, so it might have been him that's come to grief. Although the yellow is out again, and no, it's Tobias Eriksson. Eriksson was in 3rd, he's managed to rejoin, but he's lost that 3rd position to Robert Sau, and we're going to close right in on both of them. We were 2.5 seconds back, but now we're right on their tail, and we've got a fantastic line through the chicane. We could pass both of them here. We're 3 wide, we're in the middle. Sau has backed out, thankfully, so we've got 4th position. And we can put Eriksson under all kinds of pressure. Wow, this race has transformed. Suddenly, we are in a proper podium battle. Right, let's ride on board with Tobias Eriksson and see if we can see what happened to him. There's a puff of smoke ahead, and that's a back marker rejoining, and I think it just spooked Eriksson, and he's lost control. The back marker was actually Maxime Britoffo, who we saw crash into the barrier earlier. It's a safe enough rejoin. He's got a bit of time, but yeah, I think it just distracted the man in 3rd, and that, of course, invited huge amounts of pressure. First from Sau, who makes the pass, and then I closed in on both of them. I get a fantastic line through this chicane, and at this point it was just grit your teeth and hope for the best with 3 wide. Thankfully Sau thinks better of it. He eases off to let us through into 4th place. Lap 12 now, and we're doing a pretty decent job of staying with Tobias Eriksson here. We're still within half a second of him, but if you look behind, there's been a change in the order. Martin Sinicolo has got past Robert Sau for 5th place. Now, we saw Sinicolo in the early stages of the race. He was one of the drivers who crashed out, but he's found his pace again, and he is closing in fast. So although we're challenging for a podium position at the moment, if we're not careful, we could find ourselves back in 5th place. I'm expecting a challenge from Sinicolo any moment now. Oh, and it looks like there's a car rejoining, so we're going to have to come off the racing line and then try and get back on it. That's going to cost us a little bit of momentum. Hopefully it slowed down Sinicolo as well, but he is just 0.7 seconds behind. Yeah, that back marker was Luca Nastar. We saw him crash at the chicane a few laps ago. Now he's already been off again, and he's just going to take to the alternate layout here and then rejoin, which was unfortunate timing for the 3 of us because we all had to get off the racing line as we come down this hill. But thankfully no harm done, and we're still in 4th position. We're fast forwarding the live action to the end of lap 14, and as you can see, finally Tobias Eriksson is beginning to make a break for it. He's opened up a gap of 1.2 seconds as we charge down the start-finish line to start lap 15. Look in the rearview mirror, Sinicolo is still within striking distance. It's 0.5 of a second now, but he's going to get it all wrong coming into T1. Look at him drift out wide, he's onto the grass, and that is Sinicolo out of it. So as we reach the 2/3 point of the race, we're in a comfortable position. Finally, we're under no real threat from behind. The driver in 5th place, Jonas Janum, is 2.5 seconds back, and we've got a back marker in between us too as an extra bit of cushioning. But then out of nowhere, our first big mistake as we make a complete hash of the chicane. We've lost all our exit speed, no momentum coming up and over the hill, and now we've got Luca Nesta on the outside to worry about, looking to unlap himself, and look in the rearview mirror, there's a Red Bull car who is on a charge. That's Jonas Janum, who was 2.5 seconds back a few corners ago, but all of a sudden he finds himself in 4th position. We're down to 5th and we're under real threat from Robert Zhao here. We've got no choice but to take the defensive line into T1 so that there's no way around for Zhao. But yeah, that was our first mistake of the race, and it's proved costly because Ericsson in 3rd is now more than 6 seconds clear. And what was even more frustrating about that mistake was that it came just moments after we lost our closest challenger. This was Sinicola going onto the grass. He was our only serious threat. And we're under no pressure at this point, but the problem came when I missed my downshift. I couldn't select 2nd gear. We ended up hitting that chicane in 3rd, carrying too much entry speed, clipped both curbs, and that cost us all our momentum. Now we've got to worry about Nesta trying to unlap himself around the outside, and look at the opportunistic Red Bull car of Janum. He smelt blood here and he pounced. Janum into 4th, me 5th, Zhao in 6th. And unfortunately that was as good as it got. We rejoined the live action on the very last lap, lap 24, and as you can see we didn't have the pace to stick with Jonas Janum. He cleared off. He's 3.5 seconds further ahead. However, that's not to say that we've been lonely on these past few laps. We've had company the whole time. That number 1 car behind, Robert Zhao, hasn't given us a moment's rest. But we've been fairly evenly matched on pace, so I knew as long as I could keep it smooth and steady through these final couple of laps, we'd be okay to hang on for a top 5 finish, and that is exactly what we've got. And for the first time, our I rating has reached 1.7k. It was also an incident point-free race, and that's boosted our safety rating to within touching distance of a 4.0. So both my ratings looking really healthy now after that outing, and once again the strategy of letting those ahead of us crash and picking up the pieces has paid dividends. Here's the classified results, and there we are, a top 5 finish. And if you look at the fastest lap times, once again we are the slowest of all the times inside the top 10, so it just goes to show that consistency sometimes is more important than outright lap speed. If you've enjoyed watching the video, please do leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. And if you've just discovered CR Sim Racing, please feel free to check out some of my other iRacing videos from recent weeks. You'll find more Formula iR-04 races as well as Porsche Cup and F3. And finally, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my upcoming races. Right, that's it for now. I've finished the shameless plug, so I will leave you in peace. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again on the grid very soon.